My name is Jane Mariara. I'm the Executive Director of the Partnership for Economic Policy, PEP. PEP is an international NGO that is registered in the US but headquartered in Nairobi. Our core focus is capacity building in research and policy engagement. We also do cutting edge research, but most important, all our work, we have co-production of knowledge between researchers and policymakers. This is something that we insist must be done. And so involvement of policymakers from the onset of the project in a co-production model ensures that the research that we produce is not only high quality, but it also has direct impact on policy. First, just to say that we just completed a major project funded by Global Affairs Canada, that is Government of Canada, in contribution to Canadian feminist policy. And that project was on distributive impacts of climate change on women and girls in 5 countries. And we've had very interesting results. Right now, we are working on 2 projects that are around climate action, climate justice. We have one project that we are actually developing a project that is looking at the whole issue of social norms, social justice, and how women are impacted differently by climate change action, perhaps the policies that are in place, the impact, and the fact that women tend to suffer more. And if we do not have the right policies in place, we don't have the right strategies in place, if cultures does not provide for the needs of women and give them space to work in, then they end up being discriminated against, having adverse benefits. The second project that we are working on, we call it, it's a project on clean energy for development. And here we are looking at the whole issue of working with perhaps low carbon, small and medium scale enterprises, and how these affect women and men differently. Basically, what we are looking at is how would innovations in this kind of clean energy sector that involves a lot of women lead to perhaps more benefits for women, increased agricultural productivity, among other benefits. It's a project that we are doing in Africa and Asia. It's funded by IDRC. Finally, just to finish and say that we also just finished a small project with Gates Foundation related to what we are proposing for climate justice. We are basically looking again at the issue of cultural norms, gender aspects, and how these interact with climate action. And this was a project that we did in Malawi and Benin. And all those projects, we have the co-production model, so researchers working very closely with policymakers, and we are very excited about these projects. So looking forward, we could collaborate in some of these studies. Governance issues, I think, are multifaceted. So perhaps the major governance issues that we've encountered, it's not even so much at the community level, but from the upper level, because we've had political conflict. In some countries, we've had actually coups where the government, there's government change or government takeover. We had issues, for instance, with Burkina Faso. In one of the projects, we had the conflict in Ethiopia, Tigray region, which affected our work. And this translates to the lower level, because you find that multi-ethnic issues at the community level actually tend to affect first, even climate action, implementation of climate action, but even how women and men, girls and boys interact differently with climate action. Again, just what I've mentioned, cultural norms, gender issues, lack of intersectionality is really an issue that is so much intertwined with governance that is really affecting not only project delivery but also the welfare. and the impacts of climate change and interventions on women and men differently. Perhaps I'll not be very prescriptive, but one thing that I would say is that countries, think tanks, researchers need to embrace maybe what we are calling evidence-informed policy-making processes. I think one of the things that we have done in paper, we continue to do, is kind of see, do we need something like government advising? Can government embrace evidence-informed policy making? So because if it is entrenched, even if there's civil strife, even if there's political strife, the processes will not be interrupted. Of course, there's the whole issue of political governance, having goodwill from the government, from the local community leaders would go a long way in ensuring that climate action has the desirable effect in both at the overall economy for men and women differently. And finally, just to say that I think what R4D is doing with the Governance Action Hub is in the right direction, and we really look forward to see how we can help contribute to this exciting work that you are doing.